I'm completely aware that I'm going out on a limb with the title of this video. And perhaps that is also the reason why you clicked on it. Perhaps you are thinking, what the heck shall that be? A foolproof recipe for junk journal decorations? Perhaps you think something like that can't really exist. And it's also somehow the exact opposite of what we normally hear from Louise and other junk journal people. Well, I got you. Junk journaling is something without any rules. There's no junk journal police telling you what's allowed to do and what not. You can do what you want with whatever you might have. But that is exactly the point which brought me to the idea of a foolproof recipe for junk journal decorations. Because the fact that you can do what you want and that you can use what you have can also be very overwhelming. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you know what to do and how to get a satisfying result. And with satisfying, I mean satisfying for yourself so that you are happy with what you have created in your journal. But I want to show you a method how you can get junk journal decorations that make you happy and your journal unique with a very simple technique, and I call that a foolproof recipe for junk journal decorations. Hi, this is Louise Heinze. I'm a little bit nervous today because I think that there can be very controversial opinions about what I'm doing today. But I want to show you something that I learned for myself and where I am really, really happy that I discovered this little trick. What are we going to do? Let me show you something. Please take a look at this page and look what you see here. We have like a base for the page. This is a pocket. And we also have some decorations here. This little banner and this little flower, which is on this little belly band. So you can tuck something behind here, for example, a journaling paper, a card or whatever. And then please have this in mind. Please make a photo with your brain. And then please take a look at this here. A totally different thing. This is just a decoration without any function, made with the same idea like the other decorations with the same recipe. Can you see that? Perhaps you think, okay, here are the same die cuts, the same colors, and perhaps that is something like, something that fools your eye because you think, it's somehow the same. But in my eyes, this is something that adds to the cohesiveness of the journal, and it's not something that is the same because it isn't. It is a different decoration than the others are. Please then take a look at this. Wait, where is it? Please give me a second to find it. That is what I created for my German video for today. That is this thing here, which is a transparent tuck spot. And this little thing here is a pocket with a tag and this little decoration here on the bottom. This also has no function, but it is on this pocket. It is also made with exactly the same idea with my foolproof recipe. Can you see that it is made with exactly the same method? I hope not, because that is the goal for this video. If you are new here and you're new to my channel, let me quickly in one sentence or perhaps two explain what this is. This is my Halloween in August junk journal made with a digital paper collection from my shop, which is also called Halloween in August. You can find the links to the paper collection down below in the description box. There are pages, junk journal pages available, ephemera, and everything together in a kit. So if you're interested in that and if you want to have that for your own digital paper collection, you can find the links below this video. I have mixed the Halloween in August paper collection with some stuff from my stash, for example, some leftovers, also some other printables from my shop. I will link everything which is in here down below. I mean, everything which is digitally available, so that you can check that out. And what I want to do today here is possible in any journal. You can also do that on loose pages. You don't necessarily need a bound journal. You can take loose pages, or you can also do this method on tags or journaling cards or any other loose ephemera you might have. The first thing we have to do is we have to find a page where we want to add something, where we think, okay, that is perhaps a little bit boring, and we want to add something. I'm trying to find a page which is somehow in the middle of the journal so that you can see that better. It's always so hard to film in the front or the back of the journal because of the camera angle. Then you can see this is a little bit like weird because here it's already pretty thick. But I think we can take this double spread here. I want to take the double spread because you can see we have a pattern here, we have nothing here, and we already have a pocket here. So let's see if this whole thing can work on pages which are pretty different, but which are next to each other in a journal. Of course, you can take a single page as well, yeah, but I want to challenge myself here with my own method a little bit as well. The next thing we are going to do, we take something like a little bookmark or so that we can find the page again. The next thing I would like you to do is search for a page in your journal or on your loose pages or in your stash of ephemera or wherever. You can do that with any piece that you have. Search for something that you really, really like. I have chosen this double spread because there are several reasons. Because the one thing is, I really enjoyed making this. The second reason is, this was for me really easy to do, and I really had a lot of fun doing this. And the most important thing is, I can remember how I did this, and I can remember the steps I did. And that is important, that you can either remember what you have done or that you can easily see what you have done, even if you can't remember what you have done. Yeah. So then the next thing is, we look at this and we look how we did it. And with how, I mean the steps in which we did it, like in a recipe. Yeah, like you would say, okay, the first thing is you need to take 200 grams of potatoes. Let's make this example. I don't know why I come to potatoes. It's probably because I'm a little bit hungry at the moment, but don't care about that. So the first thing is, we have taken a stencil and we stenciled to the page. Then we have put the stencil back to the page and stamped through the stencil so that we got the stamping only to those areas where the stenciling is. For all of you who haven't followed the process making of this video, this pocket was already there. Yeah, so when I started this page, the pocket was already glued. So that means we don't care about the pocket. We don't talk about the pocket because that is not part of the recipe. It's not important if there's a pocket or not. If there's a pocket or a belly band or a tuck spot, you can use it. Yeah, just leave it there and just, it is there, but it is not important. The next thing is, this tag in here is also not important. If there's a tag in your pocket or not, don't care about that. But the next thing, which is important, is this thing, this little banner. So I have decided I want to have a banner on this page. So that was like a decision for, let's say in a recipe, it would be like for a flavor or so, which is optional, because the shape of this is your decision, but it's not really important what it is, but it is important that we have something there because we are talking about junk journal decorations. Yeah. And then we have a specific layering here. We are going to talk about that in a second. And we have this little thing here on top, which is made with die cuts, something that you could consider to use as well. Okay, so when we have that, and we have that in mind, or we have the page in front of our eyes, then we don't have to remember it because we can read the recipe here. So then we can go back to the page which we want to create today. And the first thing that we obviously need now is a stencil and a stamp and a color which we can use, or two colors basically, because you know we have yellow and brown here. So there are two different colors which we can use for those two first steps. So let's think about what we want to have here. And I think it is a really good idea to either take what you have used here, exactly the same thing, yeah, perhaps with a different color, or something similar, or use something totally different. But if you have done this method before, then think about what would be the best thing to use. And in this case, if you want to stamp through the stencil, it could be good to consider a stencil which has a really big pattern, a solid thing. For example, something like this with circles or so, and not something like this. Because, you know, when you take something like this and you try to stencil and then stamp through that, the stamping doesn't come out really well. Yeah, so perhaps you want to consider something that has a really big you know, here, a big pattern or so. How can I say that? A solid pattern. This stencil by Stampers Anonymous and Tim Holtz has the number THS056. And what color do we want to use? I think since we have orange on this pocket and here's no other orange thing, let's take some wild honey. I'm going to take the oxide ink, and for the stamping I want to take some ground espresso archival ink. If you don't know where to stencil, just stencil somewhere. That sounds so easy, but the main point for me is that you start and that you do something. And I experienced that it really doesn't matter how you do this, because in the end you will have something that makes you happy. I promise you that. And I wouldn't promise that if I wasn't like completely, what is the English word? Convinced is, I think, the word about this method. And this is, to be honest, also a pretty big secret, which I'm telling you here. For this video, I gave this method this name, yeah, Foolproof recipe, but this is something that I do like on a nearly daily basis when it comes to making junk journals. So we line the stencil up again, we take our archival ink, in this case ground espresso, and then we need, where have I put that? Here. We need something to stamp through this stencil now, and I like to use something that has script, but you can use whatever you want. I want to use this stamp from the set called Entomology CMS 328, and then I just press to the stamp to get fragments of the stamp only here where my stenciling is. And as always, you can of course also skip steps from this recipe. If you think, oh, I don't like to stamp here now, I just want to have the stenciling, yeah, then you just do the stenciling. The next thing is that we have this banner here, which is the decoration of this page. Yeah, the pocket is the pocket, like a little spot for the tag here, like a storage spot or so. But this is the decoration of the page, and here this little thing is the decoration of the page here on this belly band. So let's see what we can do here, which is like similar. Of course, you can decide for a decoration which has a function. The belly band on the other page has a function because you can tuck something behind here. This has not a function, no function, it's just a decoration. So let's see. Let's see what we have left over, because that is what I like to use for such a thing from the steps before. I have this page. This page comes from my Translucent Flower Whispers printable, which you can also find in my shop. I will link that down below for you as well. And this is a full page still. So I thought perhaps we can make a belly band, because I really like these flowers. Let's then think about what we want to put on here. And I think a cluster somehow would be cool. I have already cut, ooh, look. I have already cut out some pieces when I tried out different things here. So this flower here, I have cut with this die cut by Zizix and Tim Holtz. The number is 656640. I have also cut this out from other materials, like for example this thing. This was something that was a pretty big fail in my bathroom. I don't want to talk about that, so please please just don't ask, okay? Thank you. It was an absolute disaster. I thought I can make something good and cool, but that was not the case. I really like this. So we have these layers with the die cuts. As you probably realized, here I did something already in a little different order, like on the other page, because here I made the banner first, and then in the very last step I added this. But it sometimes can help if you once you have the base with the stenciling and the stamping, when you then look at the top layer, meaning the die cut and this little piece of lace here, and then decide what to put underneath. That is sometimes easier, but please do that how it's the easiest thing for you. Shall we add something else, which is perhaps like hanging out there? On the banner, I also had some fabric, which is, as you probably can guess, just the, ooh, what is this? Just the leftover piece from the cover. Nope, this completely destroys the shape of the flower. So what else could we put here? I still have this. This I got in a Happy Mail pretty long time ago. Let's see if that is too massive or if this is exactly what we need here. I know that I'm covering up the stem of the flower, which is printed on the, you know, belly band, but oh my goodness, look at this. I like that. What I'm doing here is nothing else than playing around with what I have laying on my desk here. And a second ago I said these layers here come from a fail I had in my bathroom. What is that? That is something that would normally go to the trash can, but instead of throwing it into the trash can, I throw it in into my journal. Please go to your trash can and look what you can find there, because this composition, I would probably, you know, I could never find this composition just by thinking about it, just by thinking about the materials I have. I think that only works when you play around with the things you have. This is a coffee filter. Nope. Nope, I don't like that. Sometimes you also have to like change the recipe and make it into something that is more simple, because what we have here, as you can see, this is way more complex. We have the fabric, We have then the next layer with this handmade paper, then this embossed paper, then this banner from the ephemera pack, and then the die cut. That is pretty complex, isn't it? It's at the same time bulky, yeah? Perhaps you want to consider that as well. And here, even if I think I want to layer this exactly like the other thing is, take a moment to think if you really want to do it like it is there on the recipe page. You would do that with a cooking recipe, I guess, in exactly the same way. If the cooking recipe would say add cinnamon, and perhaps you hate cinnamon, then you would probably just don't add it, yeah? And you would change the recipe in a way that you like it. Do you know what I mean? Now I'm in the process already. Yeah, look, this is beautiful. This is just perfect here. Now I am in the process. I'm already in this creative play mode. And who cares if I now follow my original recipe like 100% exactly. No one cares about that, because this is your journal. You want to be happy with this journal in the end. You want to play around with these things, and you should, from my point of view, be really, really, really egoistic with the steps you do here and with the things you use, because this is something that you make for yourself. Yeah, even if you sell your journals like I do, this journal will go into my shop once it's finished, and I sell it then. But in this moment where I create it, it's my journal, and I want to have fun with this, and I want to have this journal the masterpiece ever. Do you know what I mean? The greatest masterpiece I have ever made. And because of that, we do this. So I want to see, I have these also left over from the German video. And as you can see, oh my goodness, what the heck. This is so cool. And this also, of course, brings back this thing, use what you have. Use what you have laying around on your desk. And this is not a constructed, very planned video. Yeah, of course, I planned the video and I planned what I want to say here and what I want to show you, of course. Otherwise, I couldn't do this. Without any planning, this wouldn't be possible. But this, I haven't planned. I didn't know that I will get something like this when I started recording. Wait. I'm so sorry. Look, this little piece of something. We need this here as well. Let's take our box of little pieces of something. Let's see what could work here. This is probably too thick, too not delicate enough. I need something really tiny and fluffy, perhaps a little bit fluffy. Not fluff. No, not fluffy. Zerrupft. What is the word? Not shredded. And shredded is not the word, but something very similar. No, a little bit like destroyed. But in this case, it has to be flat also, because this is already pretty bulky, and here I want to avoid that this, when I glue this down, gets like weird. Okay, finished. Isn't this just cool? I mean, what the heck is this? Here it's a little bit empty, isn't it? But we will solve that problem in a second. Can we add a little decoration to the pocket here with our recipe as well? let's try to take some fabric first. Perhaps like, ooh, this is good. Perhaps like this, because here on the banner, I still have my orientation here on the banner, or with the banner. And the first layer here was the fabric. Then we had some handmade paper, this embossed paper, and the thing from the printable. Meaning, here we would need, if we would like to follow this, like exactly, oh, look, oh, look here. It has exactly the right length. Look at this crazy edge. Since I have cut this with my scissors, let's put this here. I will just glue it down because I know that I will love it. Since I have cut that with my scissors and this edge is not so beautiful. Oh my goodness, why haven't I put new glue into this bottle before I sat down here? Oh, this drives me crazy. Okay, so this cut edge is not so nice. Let's place this somewhere here so that we see this wonderful edge here. Let's then cover this not so wonderful edge up with the fabric. On the banner we had then a piece of embossed paper. What do we have here left over from the other things we made? This background. And I think this looks really interesting here, but it is obviously a little bit big. What if we just tear the tiniest piece off here, just to get this piece of embossed paper here? And as you can hopefully in a second see, this adds so much, even if it's just this tiny piece. Look, just like this. And since this pocket and also the belly band are empty at the moment, why don't we think about this as 1 or 2 journaling cards? One possibility also to get more cohesiveness on this would be to take this and just put it behind here like it is now as a journaling card. Then we have the connection from, you know, this to this, and I really like that you can see that this was torn off from here. That is just such an amazing detail, I would say. Another possibility would be to put this in here, cut it down a little bit. If I still want to see this, I would need to cut it here so that we can still see this. How can I imagine if I like that? I can't fold it otherwise. Let's see. Can we get, yes we can. Can we get 2 journaling cards out of this? Put this here. And this here. This is a little bit small, so let's see what we have, what we could use to make this work. Look, by coincidence, and I swear this is not planned, it's just, you know, what's laying around here. This is by coincidence the perfect color. If we want to have this there, we would need to cut this off just to don't waste this piece. And then we can just take this, put glue on here, and then put that in here so that it peeks out a little bit. Oh, so here I'm back, and I just looked to the clock and I'm realizing that my neighbors will probably now love me even more than before because my sewing machine is pretty loud. Yeah. So we have this wonderful journaling card here. This here could now get something like a connection color-wise to this, and what we also still need is something on top of this, because this was like, yeah, the second decoration. This is the decoration of this page, isn't it? So what we don't have here is this thing, what we have here on the banner. So either a piece of the digital paper or a die cut. I want to go with this plan and just do that exactly like here, so that you can see how interesting this whole thing then in the end can get. Ta-da! This little label is from the Halloween in August ephemera pack. It has obviously the same pattern like the page. Let me quickly put a little bit more ink here around the edges so that it gets a little more visible. Let's then fake staple it, meaning put a staple through here and then glue it on, because I can't staple through the page. My stapler is not long enough, and it's also not necessary to do that. I think I like this. But how to attach that there? Oh, what is this today? That is so interesting. I just wanted to grab this piece of paper to make a little tab. This came automatically somehow to my hands, and look, the combination is just perfect. Let's take this. Let's fold this. Let's take this, put it here, like a little tab. Let's just staple this. It can happen that I later on will additionally sew around here, but I will not do that in this moment because I don't want to be so loud here, because in this house it's really, I mean, it's already pretty late here and I don't want to disturb the other people. But this looks beautiful even without sewing. What do you think about this? Let me know. Please let me know. And let me know if you have tried this out and if this was successful for your journal and for yourself. I wish you a very creative day, and I hope we will see you the next time. Bye bye.